Sometimes I get opportunities, for example, we took all of our teachers and a bunch of our staff downtown. We actually visited the Hamilton County Justice Center and visited all their systems and all the things that they do there, and went and did a behind-the-scenes tour. So on the way there, I stopped and visited. So when I get little opportunities to do that, I do, because it was such a disruption, to come back, and I wanted the new principal to really get her feet wet and make it hers, so I stayed away. I only come by invitations. Yes, ma'am?
Were you close with Raven?
Yeah, so I was very close with Raven. Raven was what we called an Oiler legacy child. Those were kids that started there in preschool and went all the way through to the 12th grade and graduated and never left the building at all. Oiler has a lot of mobility, so kids are in and out all the time. Kids will go to Oiler for 3 years, then they'll go somewhere else, then they'll come back for 3, then they'll leave again, they'll stay for 4. She was there forever, and her family was there forever, and her family's family was there forever. The Gribbons family had been there a long time, so I knew her from the time she was in preschool till the time she graduated. So I feel like she's a daughter. So yeah, I've known her forever. We talked every day and still talk to her. So I always like to say that Oiler chose me. So I was working at a school called Roosevelt, which is in South Fairmount, which is the next community beside Oiler. So it goes Lower Price Hill and South Fairmount. So I was what they call the teacher in charge. I was 26, 27 years old, and the principal got sick, and I was studying to be a principal at Xavier University. The guy that was in charge of the whole program was a guy named Mike Brandt, and he was the superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools. So I was going to 3 of his classes at night, and then he said, instead of hiring a new principal, we're going to make you the teacher in charge for the last 3 months or 4 months of school. So I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing my very best and learning as I went. And at the following, that year, the school closed down. And all the kids at Roosevelt went to Oiler. So I just went to Oiler and was the assistant principal there for 2 years, and then became the principal for the next 15 years after that. So I always tell everybody, it just kind of chose me. I still wake up, all kids are great. Everybody's great. I just like to be around kids and work with kids that really, really need a lot more help than I even did. So I have a passion for that. So when I left there, there's always been this desire to help. Like yesterday, 16 of our kids went to the Oiler Eye Clinic that couldn't afford glasses. So we drove them to Oiler, got them glasses because they have an eye clinic inside there, or got them an eye exam. And then yesterday their glasses arrived, and many of them were living in a blind world, and they put them on. And when I saw their faces, they were like, "Oh my God, I can see cars, I can see colors," and that's a good feeling. So it was a hard adjustment there. There was a lot of extra need, and I kind of miss that sometimes. Yes. These are actually some really good questions. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am? I do. So I didn't steal it. It's in my car. I had that black car. I had a black one as well. So we had a black one and we had a white one, and the black one was in my car and I never returned it. And it's in my car. I think it's in my house now, but yeah, it reflects, and I kept it as a souvenir. So that was pretty cool. We had coats. So at dismissal time, 800 inner city kids are getting out. Parents are picking them up. Buses are coming in. It's rush hour, and it is very, very dangerous in Lower Price Hill. So we all had coats. So we would have white coats. So that way, if kids needed us, they could see all the people that had white coats. Or we had black ones, and they all reflected the light. So when the light's reflected off it, you can kind of see it too. So it's a safety thing it is. She asked if I would have faith that Oiler was going to be okay. So interesting. they posted the position and nobody applied for it. So I resigned in June. I think my last day was in early July. So they posted it immediately and nobody applied, internal or external. So I started work then. So then end of July came around and they couldn't find anybody. So they called a guy who actually lives in Three Rivers. His name's Tom Rothwell. We call him Rocky. He came out of retirement and he did the job for 60 days. And he was like, this is absolutely insane. Like, it was just too much going on for him. He didn't want to do it. So then he resigned, and then they named a person inside. Her name's Amy Randolph, and she's the principal. And once she got it, we talked almost every day. We still do. I started to feel more and more comfortable that things will be okay, and they are. They're doing great.
Do you know where Raven is now, or like if she graduated college?
Yeah, I was waiting for that question. So, well, I'll start by saying this: a documentary doesn't cure the lethal impacts of poverty. Okay, Raven was a first-generation college student. She did make it to her 11th grade year there. All right, and she left. All right. So Kathy Lott, myself, and several others, including Amy Scott from NPR, worked very hard to get her back into school. She did end up in Fairfield, Ohio, and she met a guy in Fairfield, was living with him. We got her through the last few credits that she needed. She has a degree. She's not working in the field that she wants to, so she started, last I heard, she was working with the clerk of courts there, which is really good. Still struggling though, you know, so we keep in touch regularly on Facebook. I think, I can't confirm this, I don't get on Facebook that much, but I think I saw where she's gonna have a baby soon, so. But yeah, so things don't always turn out pretty all the time, but definitely better than her family, and each step's getting better. Mikey, her dad, relapsed really, really bad, and he hasn't been seen in a couple years in Lower Price Hill. He was doing so good for so long, and then, boom, we had that. A couple kids, I didn't want to tell you that. Okay, so Kristen Cornegay, she was the African-American girl in the picture. Her parents were there at the table, and they were very excited that she was going to school. Do you guys remember that part? So they both passed away, both of her parents. So you can imagine her struggles. She got pregnant right after school. Both of her parents are gone, right? And then now she's living by herself at age 17 at the time. So and I haven't followed up. I was really close with a lot of her brothers, and they spent a lot of time in and out of jail and stuff. But I was very, very close with that family, and I have not heard or seen from Crystal in a long time. But yeah, and then at the end, one of my favorite students, and he was eating a popsicle at the end. Did you guys see that? Yeah, his name's Jonathan Prophet. He passed away as well from heroin overdose. So heroin hit Lower Price Hill worse than any other community in our entire region. And there was more. So, like I was saying, poverty is very lethal, and to get out of it is very complicated and very, very complex. Questions? Anybody else? Yes.
So does Euler or the community have any certain scholarships set up for the kids there if they want to go to college?
So yeah, they have access to almost all the same scholarships that you all have. They have a coordinator that coordinates, that helps them get that. They actually, kids in poverty get a lot of opportunities for scholarships. There's a lot out there. That's never a problem. The biggest problem is taking children that have lived their whole life, all right, in less than a half of a mile square foot. They've never been anywhere else. Taking them and putting them at Miami Oxford, or putting them even at the University of Cincinnati, or the thought of going out of the state is even greater. So the opportunity's there. The challenge is getting them there and trying to get them to adjust is extremely difficult. I mean, you saw Raven crying. I mean, that's normal for any kid that's leaving for college for the first time and saying goodbye to your parents. Imagine growing up in poverty your whole life, you know, and then, you know, that's who you are. Your friends, your family, that's all you have in life. And then they leave. It's very, very difficult. So, but they still have access to a lot of scholarships. Again, great questions, guys. And I'll tell you my favorite thing. I'll end with this, and then if you have a question. But one of the coolest things about this documentary, though, is that so it's been over 5 years since it came out, I believe, and it's still playing all over the nation, like right now. So like, it's really cool because last weekend it aired on PBS in the Pacific Northwest. So I always know when it airs. I don't have access to it, I don't want to watch it, but I get emails and inboxes on Facebooks from people from Seattle, Portland, and like Tacoma, Washington. They'll come all the time. It's so much fun. And then like I know I saw it aired last night. It was in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and I got all these emails already this morning. So it's always cool that you know, the story that we did is going all over, and I've had a great opportunity to speak and do these Q&As all over the nation, which has been really, really cool. So thank you guys. Thanks for inviting me. And yep, question.